You've been at the dealership for 3 hours. Your brain just switched teams, it's now working for them, not you, and it's about to cost you $2,300. You're sitting in a chair that costs less than the profit they're about to extract, waiting for numbers you'll accept because walking away feels like admitting you wasted an entire afternoon. That's not negotiation fatigue, that's psychological hostage taking. The closer knows exactly what they're doing. Think of it as a PhD in making you feel bad about leaving. Every minute you spend on that lot is a psychological investment, and the human brain refuses to walk away at a loss. Here's how the ceremony works. You arrive. You're greeted within 30 seconds. That's not hospitality, that's capture. Like a Venus flytrap, but the fly is your credit score. But in 2026, the ceremony started long before you parked. When you browsed inventory online, the system tracked which vehicles you viewed and how long you stayed on each listing. They know you looked at the red one for 7 minutes. They know you used the payment calculator 3 times. They know you can't afford it. They're going to sell it to you anyway. Some dealerships use third-party data aggregation. Before you've said a word, the profiler knows your age, estimated household income, education level, marital status. They know more about you than your doctor does. When you pull onto the lot, your profile is already on their screen. The first 5 minutes isn't information gathering, it's validation of what they already know. The profiler asks, what brings you in today? First data point, trading anything in? Second data point, driven this model before? Third data point, every question maps your vulnerability profile. Your answer tells them everything. Just looking means low intent. I'm here because of the vehicle I saw online means high intent. Congratulations, you just told them exactly how to price you. It's like handing a burglar your house keys and your work schedule. Now comes casual conversation. What you're driving now, what you like, where you work, whether you have kids. These aren't small talk, they're psychological vulnerability scans. By the time you've been on the lot for 5 minutes, the profiler knows your price sensitivity, your decision-making style, your emotional triggers. The FBI doesn't profile criminals this thoroughly. Then comes the test drive. Not because you need to test it. The test drive exists to create physical investment. You maybe even adjusted the seat forward and back a few times, like you were Goldilocks finding the right bed. The closer knows that once you've physically inhabited the vehicle, walking away requires rejecting not just the car, but the version of yourself who was driving it 60 seconds ago. You return. Now comes the appraisal wait, 15 to 30 minutes. You're offered a beverage. You're seated watching other customers complete transactions. This isn't inactive time. This is normalization. It's like peer pressure, except the peers are strangers and the pressure is coming from inside the building. The appraisal comes back. The number is lower than you expected. Always lower. Your trade-in is worth $8,000. They're offering you $4,000. Congratulations, you just got anchored. You protest. They say, let me talk to my manager. 15 minutes later, they return. They bumped it to $4,500. You feel like you won something. You didn't. You just lost less. Now you're 90 minutes in. Walking away means all of that was for nothing. The questions you asked 45 minutes ago were sharp, analytical. The questions you're asking now are softer, more compliant. You're not trying to win anymore. You're trying to finish. You've mentally already moved into this car. You've named it. You've picked a parking spot at work. Here's what you don't know. The closer has a time target. 2 to 4 hours. Less than 2, and you're still thinking clearly. More than 4, and you might snap. But that 2 to 4 hour window, it's the Goldilocks zone of exhaustion. Not too alert, not too angry, just tired enough to sign things. The average customer who stays longer than 3 hours overpays by approximately $2,300 compared to customers who finish in under 90 minutes. The longer you stay, the more you spend. Not because the vehicle costs more, because your ability to defend your position erodes with every passing minute. They're playing chess, you're playing checkers. Except the checkers are made of your savings account. Every delay is strategic. Every wait is weaponized, waiting for that magic moment when you stop doing math and start doing feelings. And the ceremony doesn't end when you agree to buy. It escalates. You're handed off to the shepherd, the finance manager. You've been there 3.5 hours already. You're not walking away over an extra $30 a month. That's one streaming service. That's 4 coffees. That's nothing, right? Wrong. That's $2,400 over 6 years. That's your kid's braces. And the shepherd is about to convert that into another $2,000 in back-end profit. But that's not where the scam ends. That's where the next one begins. They offered you coffee 90 minutes ago. You accepted. That coffee is about to cost you $1,200. Though at that price point, it should have been made from beans personally harvested by a monk in the Himalayas. Because there's something in you, a psychological obligation mechanism that activates the moment you accept a favor. The reciprocity principle isn't a theory. It's a behavioral inevitability. When someone gives you something, your brain generates an unconscious obligation to return the favor. This is evolutionary wiring. The ones who didn't reciprocate were expelled from the group, and being expelled meant being cut off. Even when the stakes are literally 75 cents worth of Folgers and some hazelnut creamer, here's how it plays out. Within 60 seconds, the host offers you a beverage. You accept. You've just created an obligation. Your brain doesn't calculate obligation in dollar amounts. It calculates obligation in social units. The only currency available is compliance. 10 minutes later, they bring the coffee. They remember you wanted cream. No sugar. They remembered your coffee order. Your own mother doesn't remember your coffee order. But this person you met 11 minutes ago, they remembered. You monster. How could you say no to them now? 20 minutes later, you're discussing vehicle options. The host points out features you didn't notice. They answer questions patiently. You're racking up karma points. Except karma points aren't real and your obligation definitely is. Here's where it gets expensive. You're discussing numbers. They've made you 3 offers. You've rejected 2. You're considering the third. It's not a good deal. You know it. But the host has been so patient, so kind. They look like a golden retriever that just brought you a tennis ball. You wouldn't disappoint a golden retriever, would you? Saying no feels like betrayal. That's a scam. The host manufactured a relationship in 90 minutes, and now your brain is defending that relationship by making financial concessions you wouldn't make in a purely transactional context. It's the most expensive cup of coffee in human history. Starbucks is jealous. This happens to everyone, because reciprocity operates below the conscious level. Knowing about a cognitive bias doesn't make you immune. It's like watching yourself fall down the stairs in slow motion. You see it happening, you can't stop it, and you're going to feel it tomorrow. The 2026 evolution makes this worse. Dealerships now use CRM systems that track your web behavior before you arrive. They know which vehicle you looked at, how long you spent on the payment calculator. If you researched safety features, the host proactively brings them up. They know more about your car shopping habits than your spouse does. Some stores implement VIP arrival protocols. When you arrive, the vehicle is pulled up front, washed, with a sign on the windshield with your name on it, like you're a celebrity. Like you're not about to financially compromise yourself for the next 6 years. That feeling costs you $1,500 to $2,000 in negotiation leverage. Think about the last time you bought a car. Did you accept the coffee? Did you make a concession you hadn't planned to make? That wasn't generosity. They repossessed your willpower using a Keurig. This is just the surface layer. Subscribe so you see the next psychological file. But the coffee trick? That's not even the most expensive trap they run. There's another one, and this one is so elegant, so invisible, that you'll swear you made a free choice. You didn't. The choice was made for you before you sat down, and it just cost you $1,800. The reciprocity trap wouldn't work if you had real choices. But you don't. You have the illusion of choices. It's like a rigged carnival game, except the prize is financial regret, and the game costs your credit score. They'll give you 3 options. 3 payment structures, 3 trim packages, 3 finance terms. You'll feel in control. It's like asking if you want to be punched in the face, the stomach, or the kidney. You're getting punched regardless. But hey, at least you got to choose. This is choice architecture, the deliberate design of decision environments to guide people toward specific outcomes. Weaponized in car dealerships. You've negotiated the vehicle price, you think you won, you feel like Rocky on those steps in Philadelphia. You didn't win. Rocky didn't know about the finance office yet. Now comes the payment discussion. The architect shows you 3 payment options. 60 months at $412, 72 months at $359, 84 months at $319. You do quick mental math. The 84-month option is tempting, lowest payment, but you don't want to be paying for a car for 7 years. That's longer than most marriages. The 72-month option is the middle ground. You choose option 2. You feel like you made a smart compromise. Here's what just happened. The architect didn't show you the interest rate. All 3 had different interest rates, 5.9%, 7.4%, 8.9%. You chose option 2 thinking you were compromising on term length. You actually chose the option with the middle interest rate markup. The architect just made an extra $1,800. They just picked your pocket while you were looking at a spreadsheet. But it gets worse. Those 3 options weren't the only options. You could have gotten 60 months at 4.9%. Those options existed. They just weren't on the menu. Like a secret menu at In-N-Out. Except instead of animal-style fries, it's a fair interest rate. This is the phantom choice menu. Every option is real, but the best options are invisible. And you don't know to ask for them because you don't know they exist. The 3-option framework isn't arbitrary. When humans are presented with 3 choices, they eliminate the extremes and choose the middle. This is the compromise effect. Goldilocks strikes again. Not too hot, not too cold, just expensive enough to make the dealership rich. The 2026 evolution has made this harder to detect. Dealerships use tablet-based finance menus that look like professional software. It looks like NASA mission control. It looks like someone is launching a rocket. They're not. They're launching your payment into the stratosphere. Some systems use dynamic pricing. As you're looking at options, the system pulls your credit score, your trade value, your down payment, and calculates in real time which option structure will extract maximum profit. It's like playing poker against someone who can see your cards, except the cards are your bank account. The architect also controls product bundling. Premium package for $68 per month, standard package for $47, basic package for $31. Premium feels like too much. Basic feels insufficient. Standard is the compromise, because you're a reasonable person who makes reasonable choices. Except this reasonable choice just cost you $3,384. But here's the real scam. You never needed gap insurance. You're putting $4,000 down, you're financing $23,000. The vehicle is worth $27,000. You have equity from day one. It's like buying flood insurance in the desert. It's useless, but it was in the middle package, so you bought it. When was the last time the architect said, here are all 7 options, including options that make us less profit? Never. It's a magic trick. Except instead of pulling a rabbit out of a hat, they're pulling money out of your wallet, and you're applauding. Even if you ask for other options, you'll get another 3-option menu. It's menus all the way down, like Russian nesting dolls, except each doll costs you money. You can't win this game by choosing. You win by refusing to play. But here's what makes all of this truly terrifying. Everything I just described, the time ceremony, the reciprocity trap, the phantom choice menu, those are the tactics they use on first-time visitors. What happens when you come back a second time is worse, because the system remembered you, it learned from you, and this time, it's been customized. You're thinking this sounds like paranoid conspiracy theory. It's not. The system is real, it's legal, and it gets smarter every time you visit, even if you don't buy. The dealership CRM doesn't forget. It remembers every vehicle you test drove, every question you asked, every objection you raised. Your next visit starts where the last one ended. They know you didn't buy last time because the payment was too high. So this time, they lead with a lower payment on a longer term with a higher rate. You think they listened. They adapted. Like velociraptors. Except velociraptors didn't have CRM software and a quota to hit by the end of the quarter. You think you're having a conversation. The profiler is executing a script. The script has branches. Your answers determine which branch. But every branch leads to the same place. It's a choose-your-own-adventure book. Except every choice leads to the same ending, and the ending is you signing paperwork. What did you tell them in the first 5 minutes that you didn't know you were telling them? Your job, your kids, your timeline, your trade. Every answer was data. You were the product. The car was just the delivery mechanism. Comment the longest you've ever been stuck at a dealership. I'll tell you which psychological trap they were running. Here's the part nobody tells you. The system only works if you don't know how it works. The moment you recognize the pattern loses power. You're about to become the one person they don't want to see walk onto that lot. You're about to become dangerous. First rule, never accept beverages. When the host offers coffee, you say, no thank you. When they insist, you say, I appreciate it, but no. Let them know you're not playing the game. You can't activate a reciprocity trap on someone who won't take the bait. Second rule, set a hard time limit before you arrive. 90 minutes maximum. You tell the profiler you have a hard stop. When you hit 90 minutes, you leave. Even if you're close to a deal. Stand up, walk to your car, drive away. Feel the power of leaving. The closer will push back. They'll say, give me 5 more minutes. That 5 becomes 20. Your deadline isn't negotiable. Hold the line. Tomorrow you'll be rested, clear-headed, dangerous. Third rule, never discuss payment until you've agreed on the total price. When the architect asks what payment you're comfortable with, you say, I don't discuss payment, I discuss total out the door price. When they say everyone buys on payment, you say, I'm not everyone. Make eye contact. You're the alpha now. Fourth rule, bring your own financing. Get approved through a credit union before you visit. Tell the profiler you have your own financing. They add markup, sometimes 1%, sometimes 2%. Over 72 months, 1% costs approximately $1,400. That's a vacation. That's literally anything other than giving it to these people. Fifth rule, decline all add-on products, extended warranty, gap insurance, tire and wheel protection, paint protection, all of it. Say no like Nancy Reagan told you to. You say, I've reviewed these products and I'm declining them. You don't explain. You don't justify. The shepherd will push back. They'll say most customers find value in these products. That's social proof manipulation. Ask for the claim data. They can't provide it. Watch them squirm. Sixth rule, know your walkaway number and never move off it. Before you arrive, decide your maximum acceptable price. Write it down. Tattoo it on your forearm if you have to. The closer will try to rewrite your number. They'll say, we're only at 420. That's close enough. It's not. 420 is not under 400. Math doesn't negotiate. Math is the one true God in this transaction. If your number doesn't work for them, stand up, shake hands, and leave. The deal will magically reappear in your inbox by morning. Seventh rule, never negotiate on the lot. Do your research online. Get 3 quotes through email or text. Compare them side by side where no one is watching you, no one is offering you coffee, and no one is remembering your name. The written word is your shield. They can't profile your body language through a screen. They can't extend the time ceremony through an email chain. Most people stop at 2 dealers. The third dealer is where the truth lives. Recognize the signals. When the host offers you something unrequested, the reciprocity trap is being set. When the architect presents exactly 3 options, the choice architecture trap is being set. When the closer says, let me talk to my manager, the time ceremony is being extended. When anyone says this deal is only good today, the artificial urgency trap is being deployed. You're in the matrix. But now you can see the code. You're Neo. Except instead of dodging bullets, you're dodging bad interest rates. Even with perfect preparation, you're still vulnerable. The psychological principles they exploit aren't bugs, they're features. You can only see the puppet strings. You can't cut them. But seeing them is enough. The dealership game is designed to win on volume. They don't need to scam everyone, just most people. And they do, every single day. Someone just like you walks onto that lot unprepared. 3 hours later, they're signing papers for a deal that will cost them 3 years of car payments they didn't need to make. You're different now. You're awake. You're armed with information. You're the customer they fear. If this changes how you'll mentally prepare for your next car purchase, send it to someone who's about to walk into a dealership unprepared. You might save them $2,000 they'll never know they almost spent. And if they ignore it, at least you'll have the satisfaction of saying, I told you so when they complain about their car payment. That's worth something. Not $2,000, but something. Thanks for watching.